Welcome back to the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is Rick Smith.
So I got to tell you, again, today was all about whether it was constitutional for Trump to be tried, whether they were going to take the case. And I got to be honest, the fact that only 6 Republicans stepped forward, speaks volumes to me. It should have been unanimous. Yes, the Senate should have the power, should have the ability to do this. But a lot of cowards in our Senate. I'm here to share some thoughts on day number 1. I've asked our good friend Richard Ojeda to come talk with us. Richard is a former West Virginia state senator, former presidential candidate, and the spokesperson for No Dems Left Behind. Richard, thanks for taking time for us.
Hey, anytime, Rick. I always appreciate it.
So let's start right in with the main argument. He's no longer president, Richard. He's out of office. It's over. It's done with. You can do nothing to it.
That's the thing. I mean, the argument that they have basically says that if you rob the bank and as long as you make it out of the bank, then you're good to go. You're free and clear. And that's what they're pushing. And, 56 people said that this trial is constitutional. I expected that, but I'm going to tell you over the next, couple of weeks when we see all this unfold and the evidence is presented, every single one of those people are going to watch everything that we see, and they're going to have to make that decision. And if the evidence is presented in a way, in good enough so that the American people get the chance to see everything, then everybody should be on the same sheet of music. And the people, if the Democrats do their job properly, and I think that they should be able to because there's so much evidence that show how damning this is for Donald Trump, in the end, everybody should be willing to say, you know what, this guy should not be allowed to ever run for office again, and he should be convicted of this crime.
Yeah, and committed as well would probably not be a bad thing as well. But the thing that gets me is, I watched that video that Jamie Raskin put out at the beginning, and while it is a little bit of propaganda-ish, it's still very damning. I mean, his words juxtaposed on people's actions, and then their words of, I got to be honest, it was extremely powerful and extremely damning.
Yeah, and you listen to people looking at the police saying, he sent us, we're here for Trump. I mean, basically what he did was he aimed a cannon at our nation's capital and he fired it. And that's exactly what he did. And it's plain to see those people went there and they absolutely went there for Donald Trump. It's like you had the folks with the Blue Lives Matter flags. And of course, they support the police until the police stand up and do their job. And then they attack the police and they kill the police officer. And what a lot of people don't understand is another police officer lost an eye. Another police officer had broken ribs. Another police officer had 2 discs in his back crushed. Another police officer was stabbed. Other police officers had to file for, injuries because they didn't have helmets on and things like that. I mean, over 150 officers suffered injuries during this insurrection. And that matters. And that should matter to everybody. And I don't want to hear people screaming anymore how they back the blue, because they don't. They only backed the blue because they thought by backing the blue, the police officers were going to open the doors and say, come on in and do what you want. The moment the police officers said, you are not allowed to be here, they turned on them, and they were with a ferocity, and it was unacceptable.
No, I'm right there with you. But what do you say to the argument that the defense made today that the Senate isn't the right place for this? This is he's now a private citizen, and I'll tell you, my mind went somewhat going, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe we should be doing this in a court of law, where he should be going to prison, which I think a lot of us would prefer.
I actually wish that this was going to play out in a court of law and that he would be facing prison. I wish that was the case. But I think right now the biggest issue that I think that the Democrats are really wanting to push is to make it to where Donald Trump will never be able to seek office again. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and this is why a lot of these Republicans, we know that Josh Hawley wants to run for president. We know that Ted Cruz wants to run for president. I mean, they should absolutely be standing up saying, no, we don't want Donald Trump to run in 2024. 2024, because if Donald Trump runs in 2024, he's going to be a thorn in their sides, and I don't understand how anybody can sit and look at the last 4 years and think, need another 4 of those. I don't understand it.
No, the thing is, it's not even that much for me that he runs again, and we stop him from that. For me, it's down the road. And I said this at the beginning, for me, the great fear is the message we send to future presidents is, do whatever you want in the lame duck before you're out of office, because we're not going to hold you accountable for it. Because then my mind starts going into places like maybe Donald Trump could have shot someone on Fifth Avenue and gotten away with it.
I think he did. It was the police officer by the name of Brian Sicknick
yes.
that died. That right there was the guy that Donald Trump killed, and Donald Trump is probably going to get away with it, and that's unacceptable. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. If you are in your last 2 months of the presidency, and, what are you going to do? You're going to move all the money from the U.S. Treasury to your personal account and then resign and pop smoke? They've done this before. They have found people in this same situation. He even spoke about it in his initial argument today about people in the past who had done the same thing, and they were brought up and they were impeached. That has to happen. There has to be repercussions for anybody, regardless. If we don't have repercussions for people, then we say that we agree that people can be above the law. A president in the United States is above the law. And if that happens here, make no mistake about it, that's the message. But here's the thing, though. I can guarantee you that had the table been turned, and it was a Democratic president, the Republicans would be going ballistic right now and would not allow this to stand. Guaranteed.
No, I guarantee. But here's the difference, and where I take your position, and I go even further, is that on the morning of January 7th at 4 a.m., when they finally certified the election, the next thing that they would have done within a second is file those articles of impeachment. By noon, they would have voted on them, and it had been in front of the Senate to get this done within days, not holding off until the new president comes in. None of that stuff. They would have driven the steamroller right over top of everyone.
Oh, if it would have been Republicans, that's exactly what would have happened, guaranteed. Because right now that they're screaming right now that you're trying to force feed it to America. But at the end of the day, something's got to be done. And I'm going to tell you, when all this is over with, I still hope that the district attorney in New York goes after Letitia James, goes after him with the ferocity. I hope that there's lawsuits all over. I hope that he doesn't get a peaceful night of sleep for the rest of his life. But what took place on the 6th, if these people look at the evidence and they still choose to ignore that, I think that's going to come back on each and every one of them. Because let me tell you something, there are a lot of Republicans in this country that have seen that have been sickened. We've already known that like 30,000 Republicans have already switched parties. Republicans are angered about this. And I'll tell you right now, the Lincoln Project's not going to let up on any of these people. Uh-huh. So, anybody who doesn't do the right thing after seeing the evidence laid out in front of them, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to have a rough few years, and they will definitely have a rough re-election campaign.
No, I sure hope you're right. And I hope that you're right, that Republicans are as angry about this as I am, because I keep having people saying, "Well, Rick, whatever happened to Joe Biden and the unity?" And it's my view, and you can disagree. There's a unity moment here. We can agree what Republicans used to believe in responsibility and accountability and making sure that you have justice and fairness and those high-minded ideals that this country was founded on. To me, that's where we can come together and say that no president, I don't care who it is, no president gets to do this.
Absolutely. That's the unity that we need. Everybody has to realize that what took place on the 6th is absolutely wrong, and we should come together and stomp out any capabilities of this to ever happen again in this country. That's the unity that we need. And anybody else talking about, anything other than that, they don't want to see the truth. They don't want us to protect ourselves in the future.
Now, I want to go back to January 6th because I was never in the military. I know you've spent the mass of your career as a military person. I've made the argument that what we saw on January 6th was the culmination of multiple military operations throughout the state capitals. In Virginia, when they had the Second Amendment rallies, they were testing the water, training for what happened on January 6th. So for me, there's no argument that it was spontaneous. In fact, there were numerous people who were saying this is what we've been training for. Am I anywhere near close to reality here?
Yes, you are. You are. I'm telling you right now, there are people that have been training. There was a video, and you'll notice when everybody was crowded in front of the Capitol, I saw a video that had a group of people they had their hands on the shoulder of the man in front of them, and they were decked out in combat gear, and they were moving through the crowd. And all I could think of was they were getting ready to go stack on doors and friggin' clear rooms. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's organizations that actually train that stuff. There really is. And I'm telling you, I really hope, and I think that it's something that needs to be done. Our legislators on the state level and this national level better start pushing legislation that makes it a crime to bring weapons, guns, and things like that onto our state capitals and our nation's capital. Because if not, I'm telling you right now, we're going to see something's going to come up. Something's going to happen. You got a lot of people out here right now that believe Donald Trump is the second coming of Christ. And let me tell you something. Some of the things that those people have been, talking. I saw I saw posts on social media from where I'm from locally, where people were talking about taking people with COVID and having them spit in bottles and using that as a weapon. These are some people these are sick individuals. And a lot of them, I'm telling you right now, a lot of these people, that served in the military, they never got a chance to get some. And that's what it is. And they miss that. And they think that this is their opportunity. So they get out here and they act like they're training for the big war. And it's as if they want it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't stop this, if we don't make this to where people like that can't get onto our nation's capitals, we're going to see it. It's going to happen. And you know what? Somebody says, if a coup goes unpunished, it's nothing but a training exercise. And I'm telling you right now, what happened could be a lot worse.
No, and that's, this is where my mindset. Look, I was saying this, year ago. When the thing that happened in Virginia with the Second Amendment rally they had there, I said, this isn't a rally. This is a trained exercise. This is a show of force. This is them telling us that they're organized, they're heavily armed, and that they have a common mission. And we find out now from the FBI that there were munitions stashed around the Capitol. There were pipe bombs. There were Molotov cocktails, tactical gear all over the place. This was a well-planned, well-orchestrated, well-pulled-off operation. The only thing that failed is they didn't get to the representatives and the senators like they wanted to.
Absolutely. And had they gotten to them, I'm telling you right now, a lot of people were running around there. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. But I'm going to tell you, there were some people in that crowd that if they would have got their hands on AOC, Maxine Waters, if they'd have got their hands on Vice President Pence, we could sit here and we can name 20 different people that if they would have got their hands on, they would have assassinated them right there on the House floor. That's an absolute fact. And I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time. We've got to crush this. We've got to stop it right now. I'm sick and tired of these wannabe militia folks. That's why we got the National Guard. I'm sick and tired of allowing these people to get out here and do what the hell they want to do and cause a hazard to other people. I saw something the other day, and it talked about the Jews, and it talked about how before the Nazis beat the hell out of the Jews, the neighbors beat the hell out of the Jews because it was basically put in their mind that everything that they had in terms of wrong in their lives was because of those Jewish people. And I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump has used that with Democrats. You hear Republicans speaking about Democrats with pure hatred, not about fellow Americans who just have a different party. Donald Trump did that. Donald Trump made America hate again. And I'm telling you, if we don't stop this man, it's going to come back on us later on down the road, and it's going to be a lot worse.
No, I'm right there with you. But, the thing is, and I've talked about this for a couple of years. I mean, you go back to the Bush years, they were talking about these white militia groups coming up. You remember during the Obama years, Janet Napolitano got just skewered over the fact that she said, Al-Qaeda is not as big a concern as these militia groups.
Yeah.
And we now see how organized they are. And people are like, no, well, they've gone back in their holes. And I'm like, no, don't be comforted in that. They're going back in their holes and they're planning for what's next and what's going to be worse.
And they are, and I'm telling you, they have the capability and they have the weapons. I mean, if they ever do, this could be so much worse. And I'm telling you, some of these people know what they're talking about. Some of these people have the training. We know that there's people that are prior military that, actually served in the types of units that know how to do that stuff. And they've been training a lot of these people to do that stuff. And it's scary and it could happen.
Scary times. Last question I've got for you. There's talk of new evidence tomorrow. Supposedly this new evidence is going to be groundbreaking. It's my guess that it's the hours after, as this is going on, what Trump was doing. Because like I said earlier, initial reports were he was gleeful that it was going on. The defense is saying, no, he was distraught. I'm curious, what do you think the new evidence is? Any thoughts?
I think it's about probably what's leading up to all this. We saw Roger Stone the day before, surrounded by the 3%ers, and they were talking about, it's going to be big. I think that we're going to see that this wasn't something that just happened. I think that we're going to see where Donald Trump and Don Jr. and them were speaking to people about this, and that this was supposed to take place. And you know what I honestly think? Because you see Donald Trump was completely excited. He was the one that said, let's march down that way. It wasn't until I think Donald Trump realized that they did not succeed. They did not assassinate half of our members of Congress. And that's when he finally did the video that said, you are intruders and you will be prosecuted. But I'm telling you right now, I think that before this, I think they're going to be able to show where weeks before this took place, how these people were absolutely, mapping it out for it to happen.
No, I don't disagree, and the fact that they were told to basically stand down and be totally left the police, the Capitol Police, and all those people totally unprepared and unable to deal with what had happened. I think you're right, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But Richard, I appreciate the time and the thoughts as always. Good stuff, my friend. Hey,
anytime, Rick. You let me know. I'll be there.
I appreciate it. Our good friend Richard Ojeda. He's the national spokesperson for the group No Dems Left Behind. And look, I'm waiting to see what this new evidence is going to be. And maybe Richard's right. Maybe it's going to be all the moneyed interest, as we've been talking about, all of the people who were promoting this for months. Going to be interesting to see. Quick break. Right back. Stick around.
Remembering that united we bargain, divided we beg. Rick Smith.